Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive political dilemma from an ancient text that, honestly, feels incredibly modern. We are stepping right into the royal court of King Dhritarashtra in the Mahabharata, where a fierce, high-stakes debate about power, survival, and fate is just about to unfold.
Let me throw a question at you right off the bat. When the fate of a kingdom, or really any massive enterprise, is hanging by a thread, who do you trust? Do you listen to the proactive peacemaker offering a concrete step-by-step plan? Or the fatalist who believes everything is already written in the stars? It's a classic leadership crisis, and it is exactly the monumental choice facing the king as he listens to his top advisors.
This exact tension sets the stage for our core conflict. On one side of the court, we've got Drona, a heavyweight advisor pushing hard for direct action, diplomacy, and virtue. And on the complete opposite side, we have Karna, whose whole political philosophy revolves around immovable destiny and a really deep, biting suspicion of his rivals.
Section 1. Drona's Strategy of Virtue, a Playbook for Peace.
What's super fascinating here is Drona's absolute bottom line. He explicitly backs up to earlier advice of another senior statesman, Bhishma, and tells the king point blank, "Let a share of the kingdom be given unto the Pandavas. This is eternal virtue." Drona is not mincing words here. He sees power sharing not just as some temporary political band-aid to avoid a war, but as a moral absolute, a literal eternal virtue.
But Drona doesn't just toss out nice-sounding platitudes. He actually lays out a highly actionable four-step playbook for peace. Step 1. Dispatch agreeable messengers with vast treasures immediately to their new ally, Drupada. Step 2. Smooth things over by gifting pure gold to the Pandavas and their new bride, Drupada. Step 3. Send the king's own sons, Dusasana and Vikarna, to respectfully escort the Pandavas back home. And finally, Step 4. Install them on their rightful paternal throne in Hastinapura. Drona is essentially saying, look, here is exactly how you buy peace, secure it, and institutionalize it.
Section 2. Karna's Suspicion. The Fatalist Strikes Back.
Well, Karna steps up to the floor and completely trashes this diplomatic roadmap. Instead, he attacks the planners themselves. He levels this stinging accusation, claiming that top advisors like Bhishma and Drona are just pampered with wealth and are speaking with wicked intent but taking care to conceal the wickedness of his heart. Karna desperately wants the king to see this so-called virtuous playbook as a Trojan horse, basically a corrupt scheme hatched by disloyal friends.
And this incredibly cynical attack forms the bedrock of Karna's worldview. He argues that in times of crisis, all that human effort and political maneuvering Drona is talking about, it's completely irrelevant. Why? Because, as he puts it, everyone's happiness or the reverse dependeth on destiny. Karna is basically saying that it doesn't matter how smart you are, how old you are, or how many allies you've bought with gold. Destiny, not some four-step action plan, is what dictates if you succeed or fail.
Section 3. The Parable of Destiny, the Lazy King of Magadha.
To really hammer this point home, Karna tells the court this wild, fascinating story about an ancient king of Magadha named Amvuvicha. Check out this timeline. In year 1, this king literally does nothing. I mean, his only exertion is inhaling air. He totally ignores his royal duties. By year 2, his minister, Mahakarni, sees this power vacuum and just takes over, hoarding the king's wealth and his queen's. Moving into year 3, the greedy minister decides he wants the whole shebang and attempts to formally usurp the throne itself. But look what happens in year 4. Despite the minister's relentless plotting and the king doing absolutely nothing but breathing, destiny steps in and completely prevents the usurpation. The lazy king just remains king.
So the ultimate takeaway from Karna's bizarre little fable is summarized right here. If destiny hath ordained otherwise, howsoever mayest thou strive, it will not last in thee. He's telling King Dhritarashtra that if destiny wants him to keep the kingdom, he's going to keep it, even if the whole world turns against him. But if he's fated to lose it, no amount of striving, no amount of Drona's gold or diplomacy is going to save it. To Karna, action is fundamentally useless.
Section 4. The Ultimate Stakes. Drona's Grim Warning.
Now, Drona isn't just going to sit there and take Karna's insults. He steps right back in and massively escalates the stakes. He fiercely flips that accusation of hidden malice right back onto Karna, saying, "As thou art wicked, it is evident thou sayest so in consequence of the wickedness of thy intent." Basically, Drona is calling out a classic case of projection. He's arguing that Karna only sees wicked intent in others because his own motives toward the Pandavas are so utterly corrupt.
But he doesn't stop at defending his character. Drona drops a massive, terrifying prophecy. He guarantees that if the king ignores his proactive diplomatic advice and goes with Karna's fatalistic approach, the Kurus will be exterminated in no time. This isn't just some mild warning about losing a bit of political leverage. He is literally threatening the total apocalyptic annihilation of their entire ruling family.
So, let's pull all of this together. We're looking at two sharply contrasted philosophies from the text that map perfectly onto how we make high-stakes decisions even today. On the one side, we have Drona's proactive virtue, the belief that taking direct, diplomatic action, sharing power, and doing the right thing actually shapes the future and ensures your survival. And on the flip side, we have Karna's surrender to destiny, the absolute conviction that striving is useless, human effort in a crisis is an illusion, and an immovable fate determines your success or failure. Which brings us to a profound question that leaders have wrestled with for literally millennia. When you find yourself in a season of distress, when absolutely everything is on the line, do you rely on proactive virtue and concrete action to save your kingdom? Or do you surrender to destiny and just hope fate is on your side? It's an incredible dilemma from the Mahabharata that forces us to really examine our own approach to decision-making and trust. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will leave you to ponder that ultimate question.